What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. You can only Ryan680.
And this is Lex back at it again with another review.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Ted Lasso. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Lasso. We got our weekly reviews, guys. And if you have not already, be sure to give us a thumbs up on this review and recap episode. And be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe button. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, get bell notification right there, guys, to get notified for our movie reviews. And in this case, Ted Lasso reviews. Guys, let's get right to it. Lex, what episode are we on Ted Lasso right now? Let's talk this.
Episode 7 of season 3, and the episode title for this week is "The Strings That Bind Us." Funny enough, since Ryan and I have press access, typically when the new episode of Ted Lasso comes out, we get well, actually, no, this is not because of press access, but I guess when an episode comes out, the Apple TV app will show you like a thumbnail most of the times, and the title for the next episode. This episode originally was going to be called Boxes, and they changed it, which I don't think it's ever happened, but they changed it to The Strings That Bind Us.
Interesting.
Both now having seen the episodes, both of them are relevant for sure.
They make sense.
But
they both do.
Yeah. Maybe that tells you a little bit about the theme going on.
Yeah, definitely, guys. And then also, I forgot to mention, by the way, me and Lex right now, guys. I know we're not live right now, but we will be live on May 31st. We're planning on to, unless anything changes, guys, but May 31st, as of right now, we will be doing a live, guys. Yes, a live chat where we'll be streaming the episode as much as we can without copyright issues, right? Apple TV. But me and Lex will be watching the episode with you guys, with your moviegoers, with Ted Lasso fans. We're watching the last episode, season/series finale of this on May 31st, guys. We will be watching it. We will probably start the episode like around 7 or 8, but we'll let you know further more details when we get closer to it. But yeah, be sure to look out for that. Look out for our posting, because we're going to post about it. We're going to market it, and be sure to look out for that episode coming out. And sadly, yes, it's coming. It's coming, man. The May 31st is the series season finale of this. But yeah, The Strings That Bind Us, Lex. What was your initial episode? We got the Amsterdam episode. We got a lot of really good dialogue in there. We got a lot of good dialogue between characters. Got a lot of good development between characters. And we got a little bit more of that, so much more in this one. We're not going to mention spoilers yet. We will mention spoilers at the very end, so you guys can watch this. Moviegoers can watch this. Ted Lasso. Don't worry, guys. We're not going to mention any spoilers. I will keep it marked as well, and we will put the marker up, by the way. But yeah, Lex, what was your initial reaction after watching this episode 7?
I was truly shocked at like how much this episode made me laugh. I gotta admit, like, this in my opinion is one of the funniest episodes, because it not maybe my opinion, but I'm marking it based on how many times me and my wife just like laughed out loud. And if people that know me, I don't laugh out loud very frequently. I love comedy, but I could laugh internally, and I'm enjoying it as much as other people would like laughing out loud. But when I laugh out loud, it's because it caught me by surprise, and I was just not expecting some stuff. And yeah, this episode has like a high mark for me in terms of like the times that I did that. But also like really awesome to see after the few episodes that we've gotten. It's really awesome to see the concept of the show. Though I have always said it's not a show about football; it's about people. Taking it back to football, right? Taking it back to the basics. We saw last week Ted had a little bit of a moment in realizing the type of statistic or strategy that he would like to implement in the game. And so, yeah, this is a direct follow-up in implementing that tactic. So I won't say much more than that. But for those that have been lingering, like, oh, I'd like to see more football. It's been a while since we got that on the season, since Saba.
Which was me, by the way. Was me.
I
said it. I was all like, we need more football. And man, Van Damme, you cannot block a goal for nothing. I'll just say,
on FIFA he does pretty good.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, those were my initial thoughts. It's just, it was nice to see going back. I don't know if basics is the right word, but like going back to the fundamentals. But what about you, Ryan? Because I know once again you were asking for that. Like, what are some of the thoughts that you had initially?
Yeah, so this episode I really enjoyed it. I was cracking up without mentioning spoilers. This episode starts off with the jokes that are just so casually well put. And I am very very picky to comedy. I really am. It takes a while, and we're the complete opposite, Lex. We really are.
What
And
I'm
and
thinking with comedy too.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
I'm very
literally just
selective.
said that I
I'm
don't
very
laugh out loud.
selective. I'm very selective when it comes to comedy. I'm more picky probably
Okay.
than you. More
Well,
picky than
yeah,
you.
you
Yeah.
probably are.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Very more picky than
Wouldn't
you.
say
So
opposite though.
all right, true. But it's definitely a place to where, oh my god, I can't believe this is making me laugh this much.
Yeah.
Oh my, like there's just so many special moments in this episode that just kept cracking up, that I kept just like laughing, LOL loud, and it just felt so good in a way because it was, we all go through work, right? We all have work. We all go through work, eight, sometimes 8 hour days, sometimes longer, right?
Yeah.
And this episode just took that breath of like, I forgot I even went to work. I forgot I was stressed out at work in a way to where this really calmed me down, and this really got, just a warmness into your heart, and just showed how a movie or a TV show could really change your whole attitude after watching this episode here. And we got a good runtime as well.
Yeah.
I'm digging these
It's
episodes,
a
these lengthy.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, it
Take
yeah
notes, everyone else, pretty much.
Yeah, for real. The writing in here was done very well. I like the dialogue between it. And
Yeah.
that's the thing too, because the last episode, we got way more dialogue. In this one, we do, but it's more comedy driven dialogue in a
Yeah,
way
for
that
sure.
it
It's a
really
lot of
sinks
moments.
in. Yeah, it really sinks in with the whole episode as a whole. And it really touches up on it. And we do get a little bit more we do get a little bit more driven on certain, we do get it to a serious tone here, but it's not as serious as the last episode was in that case, because I kind of feel like they do this on purpose, right? They do like a serious tone, a serious action dialogue, a moment to where every single character is driven, and then boom, we go back to where it's casually laughing, casually story
Yeah.
driven, and I like that a lot. We saw Keely in here, we saw everyone, we saw Nate, we saw a lot of, we saw all the characters really, and I like that because
Yeah.
this is going back to the basis of the true Ted Lasso, almost close to season 1 of Ted Lasso, in a way to where it just
Yeah.
kind of showed everyone where everyone's at in a way, but it didn't feel forced. In the last episode, I didn't like how, in a way, the Amsterdam episode, I didn't like how I kind of felt like it was a little bit slow to beginning. I remember I mentioned that, but in this one, boom, you're hitting it off the park. And I understand why last episode was the way it was, because this episode was definitely more driven. And I'll
Yeah.
say, yeah,
And I think it's representative of life itself, right? Like not every day is a good one.
yeah,
I've seen online some people like saying like, yeah, it's just this season doesn't feel as joyful anymore or things like that. Um I'm not here to pick fights. Like
yeah,
I don't understand it, but you're entitled to like your own opinion, like for people that feel that way. And I can see where that comes from. But at the same
yeah,
time, like I think we're missing the part of like this show has faced a lot of realistic scenarios and a lot of the relationships feel very real to their core. And we've already gotten to know these characters for 2 seasons. Not every day is a good one for them. Yeah, Ted is not always joyful. Ted is not always like happy. He experiences anger, sadness, all the thing, and so
yeah.
does the rest of the cast. But you're totally right, though. This episode to me felt one of the most like lighter episodes in recent moments, and I think
Yeah, I
it's
did.
all part of what it's been building up, right? Like
Yes.
people were carrying a lot of baggage in the last episode, and I'm not saying it's entirely done. I think it's doing it progressively in an organic way,
Yeah.
but yeah, this episode cover, if I was to summarize it in a single way, would be relationships. Once again, we have a
Yes.
couple of romantic based relationships on this episode that get covered and get more exposure, but we also
Yeah.
have the relationship with the team. And,
Mhm.
we talked about total football a little bit last episode.
Yeah.
They're going to need to get in better synchronization with one another. And I think
Yes.
this episode did a great job at
Yes.
addressing that.
Yeah, and that was one of the issues that I always had, because with Ted Lasso, last season, it was just, for me, I was more annoyed how Ted Lasso again. This is he was going through his own battles, his own struggles, and granted I give him the benefit of the doubt. I did, but at the same time though, you're like, I'm tired of losing. Like, stop losing. Stop. Like, just come on, Ted, coach. We need you to coach. And I feel like in this episode we definitely got more of that. The answers, I'm just all the questions and were answered in this episode. I would say when it comes down to football, in a way to where it was just more football driven, more tactics and all that. And I love that a lot. I really did. This episode really upped it for me. It really did. I enjoyed it a lot. We see more so of, because the last episode we didn't really see Keely too much, but in this episode we got more of her. Yeah, we did, and I expected that. I was like, everyone knows, hey, where's Keely? I even saw people
take turns. I think that's always been evident, but in this season, since we've gotten an insight into more players' lives, Colin, for example, but even just different stories, right? Like we have Jamie and Roy and different dynamics. I think some characters sometimes take a backseat. I don't believe this is a spoiler, but you can imagine that, last episode was very Rebecca driven. So perhaps this is the episode where, she's not there as much as other characters, but I think that's
maybe she is, it's definitely,
yeah. And it's when we talk about a show, like, think of how many characters we're introduced at this point, and the fact that we miss them every single week, that they're not in the spotlight, it just means that the show has been doing their job. It's truly made us care about all these characters, except Shandy. Just kidding.
Oh man, except Nate. But no, this is I know, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing. Forget Nate. Anyways, it's almost like this the essence of Game of Thrones in a way too, because there's so many different characters all over Game of Thrones, all over the world, all over the realm, and it's a huge cast, and you care about them because you're like, when's the next time we're gonna see them? Where are they at? Where are they at?
Yeah,
and then this Game of Thrones,
like having characters all the way in the distance, like it was a little harder, right?
Across the narrow sea, and it's definitely one of those things to where it definitely is a struggle and upsetting when you don't see, especially the character that you really liked last season versus this season, because it's less. I mean, someone's going to get less screen time, or maybe they all get the same amount of screen time, but maybe it doesn't feel that way for some individuals, because you're like, I want him more of Sam, I wanted more of Colin, I wanted more of Keely or Becca, and so forth and so forth. But granted, this whole series is called Ted Lasso, but it's more than just Ted Lasso in this series. I mean, that's the funny thing about it. It's that's the funny thing about it, and it just it really went along this journey, and I love that. We do get, I guess, more answers, more so, because that was the main thing. All the complaints that I did last episode, guys, was pretty much answered in this episode without spoiling it.
Because they heard you. They were like, all right, let's throw this episode at
they're
Ryan.
like, you know what, we're going to change it up too, Ryan, because, we're going to change up the title too, man, because if it's not good enough for your standards, it's switch it up.
It's funny. We have a mutual friend, Andrew, and I don't mean to put him in the spotlight, but he's had reservations around how this season is going. And once again, I feel like that's fine. I'm just super positive, I guess. No, but like I'm giving once again, I've told every single one here. I think it's been 2 episodes where I've said, look back at how the first 6 episodes were on the previous seasons, and it'll kind of click. That's what I've been saying. But with Andrew, like, just joking around with him and teasing with him, I was like, hey, be careful, don't be judgmental, stay curious, like little things like that. But no, I think this episode was, once again, just brought it back, and I think it's going to win a lot of people that have felt a little iffy about the show as well.
Yeah, this whole, I could say this right now, we're more than halfway through the season. I really do believe, because they've been winning Emmys nonstop, I believe this show's going to win Emmys next year. I feel like it does, because it's keeping me engaged. There's so many different. I mean, I believe Jason, he's gonna win an Emmy. I believe Roy Kent's gonna win an Emmy. I believe a lot of them are.
Guys, stay tuned for our spoiler discussion coming up here shortly. But we have a particular performance that I like to highlight. I'm not gonna say it here, but this episode, like we said, it's lifted and very comedic, but of course there's still serious issues at hand because of how real the show is in terms of how life is.
Yeah, and this episode felt in a good way. It felt longer, more driven on the fact that we do get a difference between we get more of screen time on certain characters that I guess I can mean more screen time. It's not really a spoiler because everyone anticipated it. I did, at least for the most part. We do get a little bit more screen time of Sam because we do get a little bit of him the last episode or what was it, 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago when he opened up his shop. Whenever we saw it, or
That
was it?
that was the end of last season. It was the
Oh,
season finale.
no. But when we saw the
Or
shop, yeah, we remember they were in the
oh,
shop.
since we saw it like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that
this
was
season.
episode 2.
Okay, yeah. So
Mhm.
that was one of my major things. So I was all like, "Hey, they showed us Sam and Becca. Becca went to his
Oh yeah.
shop, and like I was like, why are you not doing? Why are you not? Where is Sam? Like I'm so pissed because I'm just like, Sam is such a really good character. What are y'all not? Why y'all keep missing it? Why are showing us Colin, a new character? But now I know why. Now I know why. Because I was just like, Sam, he doesn't deserve to be pushed to the side or whatever. It for me, it was definitely a situation to where like you gotta show us Sam because you made us care so much about him last season. He had a really good character driven story last season, really good stance against politics and all that. And I love that because he really took a stance on it and we really showed the kind of person he is, a really good, kind person. And yeah, so I really like that. And then more so, we do get more Sam in this, which I am digging it 110% of that. I really digged it. And then even more so, we do get Nate. We get more of the good side of Nate. I don't know, man. I know we keep mentioning over and over of this on our episodes, but like, I mean, he's Darth Vader, man. He's gonna turn at the very last minute. He's gonna turn on Rupert. We're calling it right
But
now.
that's the thing.
We're gonna call
I
it
don't want to
right
say it
now.
in
We're gonna
spoiler.
call it right
No,
now.
I called it like 3 episodes ago too, like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
more. But no. Hold on. I'm gonna discuss more on the spoiler talk. All I'll say is yes, there's Star Wars references. I think that's valid to keep aligning with that because even the creators have talked about there's a lot of influence here. But unlike Darth Vader, in my opinion, which the turn little hints here and there happened last minute. It really took place last minute, and
Yeah.
that is not a criticism. That's just how it played out. Here, I think we're seeing it unfold more than what we think. So I think the turning happens progressively rather than like in one particular moment. Um, but
I
people
just
could argue
noticed
with that.
I just noticed something too. More so, okay, you see this picture, right, of Nate?
Hmm.
I've noticed this season, and even more so this season. Matter of fact, he's wearing more and more black.
He's always
More
done that.
No, but like more and more black. I mean, granted, he was wearing Richmond, but this one he's not even wearing too much. Like he's been wearing more and more black. Who's black in this? Who has a black suit in the Star Wars universe?
Well,
That's all.
yeah, but
That's all I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
That's all I'm
think
saying.
that's a suit that
Yeah.
he bought with Keely last season when he kissed her.
No, but like even more so though. Like he's wearing like a black sweater.
Oh,
He's wearing more black. He's
oh
just
yeah,
wearing
yeah,
more
the
black.
sweater. Yeah.
Everything in general, and I'm all like,
No, I get you. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for real.
Those outfits are picked specifically for that episode. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everything's picked
No,
out
no, for
for that
sure.
episode. And
Everything.
I'm just saying, it doesn't happen by coincidence. There's no such thing as that when it comes to filmmaking. There's a reason why they're wearing what they're wearing because the costume designer. It goes back to like the creative
Absolutely.
side of
Same
it. But
thing
yeah,
with Rupert. Rupert used to not
yeah.
wear a lot of black, and he's all black now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about spoilers, guys. So if you have not checked out this episode, if you have not checked out episode 7, The Strings That Bind Us, be sure to check it out. Or if you really just don't care, like I do, if you really just don't care, then go ahead and watch the spoilers talk. Stay with us, guys, because we love talking about spoilers. And if you're listening to us on the podcast platform, be sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube and vice versa. If you find us on YouTube, be sure to follow us on Apple Music, Apple Podcast, guys, or wherever your podcast could be found, because we are most likely there.
Just in case people are like hands off or yeah, I was just gonna say like if you didn't pay attention and you're paying attention now, like just we have the marker right there.
Yep. Marker is up. It went away. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
oh. Marker is up, guys. We are letting you know right now. Spoilers.
Talk.
Spoilers. All right. All right, now let's get right to it, Lex. Again, we said it, guys. Spoilers, so don't be mad. Don't be mad. Go check out other episodes, guys. All right, let's go. All right, so first and foremost, we do get started off, with that fantastic fantastic slideshow that we got of Beard and everything, the whole team getting together
Oh
and the whole
yeah,
learning about a new game, a new strategy, which we knew was going to happen because of the last episode. So
yeah, total
it really
football.
feels like it takes off like right after the last episode in a way. Like I feel like it does, right? Because it really does.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like it's like the next practice that they have after they
Yeah,
return,
because last episode we had a time jump
for
in a
sure.
way. Yeah, so this one
Yeah,
we really don't. I feel like it takes off right the next week or so um, uh, of the Amsterdam episode. But yeah, so I mean, we do get a little bit of Ted Lasso's game plan here, and I like that. And what
yeah.
was it called, Lex? The game plan?
Total football.
Total
Total football.
football.
Yeah, and Beard explained back at the end of the last episode how it's actually a strategy that was already invented by the people of Netherlands, and that I forget the year, but it's been in place for a while. It's not something new, but he was very proud that Ted came up with it because of the psychedelic barbecue induced dream that they had, and essentially what happened is that in this slideshow, I think they did a really good job at even educating us, the audience, as to how that all takes place.
Yeah,
And I think that the show throughout the whole way, like because Ted didn't start like knowing much about football, like the series as a whole has done a really good job at teaching us the basics, I would say. But this moment just kind of introduced it to the characters as well, and like you said,
yeah.
a great presentation all around, and it just kind of lets us know the type of synchrony that they need in order to make this to work. And I found it funny is like, oh yeah, like it's cool, like we'll practice it and maybe we'll implement it a couple months down the line, and then Ted's like, no,
No,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
use
do
this
it
on the game.
now. We're gonna use it in the
Yeah,
next game. I was like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "You crazy or what?" I forgot what Roy Kent says, but he just says it like that. Like you're insane. Like what is wrong with you? You're a lunatic. Like what is wrong
yeah.
with you?
And a big part
Uh,
of the episode does revolve around this, like making
yes,
this work.
yes.
We get sequences around practice that even
Oh
involve
man,
it
yeah.
involves like thinking of your partner's like or your teammates like role and things like that, and we even see a
Not,
funny hilarious
not
bit.
only that, but we do get a little bit of Roy Kentness comedy in here, in a way. So the players, what happens is, the players actually put a string on their penises, and
His idea.
it's yes, Roy Kent's idea, and I've never heard Roy Kent laugh like that. I mean,
Yeah,
at all. Like it
it
was
was
just,
hilarious.
dude. And then they also made a cracking sound, and I thought that was kind of funny. And then also,
Yeah.
even okay, is this call me crazy because Angela asked me? I said I think that's the first time we actually get audience in the or people watching the practice besides
It's
the owner,
it's the first time.
right?
They invited
Okay,
more and more fans.
yes, and I noticed that during the next practice they were inviting more and more
Yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah, there was more.
This almost actually feels like Americanized football because usually it's the parents that are watching
There's
or
open
the or
practice.
yeah, or like the the people that are really dedicated to their team or dedicated to the school more
Yeah.
so. Like I feel like this is more Americanized football because people are just loving it. I mean, we do also get an impersonations of people in a way
Yep.
to where people switch positions. They switch football positions, and in a way to where it was kind of funny because I think it was Danny. It was
Yeah.
Danny's, and oh my god, Danny had made a
Danny tried to
face.
imitate
Yeah,
Isaac, and then
Isaac. Yeah,
Isaac's like he
he
like
does a
crosses and
dribble.
yeah,
Yeah,
he starts
that
praying.
was
It was
hilarious.
hilarious. And then my
Oh
favorite,
man.
Will and Beard swapping roles.
Oh my
Beard is
god.
handing out water.
Yes.
And for a moment we don't see Will in the frame,
Yeah,
and
I
then he
noticed
comes
that.
out and he's like, "Let's go, baby." And
Yeah,
it
let's go,
was
baby.
just
No, he goes like this. You
great.
go, let's go,
Yeah.
baby. Ah! He starts screaming, and
Yeah.
oh
That was
man,
one of my favorite bits
that is
from this whole thing.
cracking.
The whole
Uh,
penis thing was great. It's just
yeah,
once again, this episode was about making it work, and they tried a
yeah,
bunch of funky things, and some of it was working, right? Like we saw a
yeah,
later sequence where like even how they're passing each other like water bottles, like there's a little bit more synchrony. But there's still something that's not working, and we'll
yeah,
talk about that in a little bit. But just to like I think four important topics that were covered during this type of sequences
Mhm.
was getting their conditioning right, their
Yes.
versatility, awareness, and then the mystery number 4 that wasn't really
It
revealed
wasn't
at
revealed at
all.
all. Yeah.
I think it was towards the end, but like
What did Trent say? He said, oh my god, I forgot what he said. He mentioned it. It's like this is number 4, right? Or who's? Oh no, was it Danny? Danny mentioned
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He mentioned,
Well, I'll talk about that moment because
yeah.
I want to highlight it individually. But
Okay.
yes, there was a moment where they asked, and then he said no, and yeah, there was a whole mystery going on throughout the whole
Yeah.
episode. I want to cover real quick. Like I said, we've covered this episode focuses around the relationships between the teammates with one another, needing to put each other in each
Yeah.
other's position from a football standpoint. But this episode addressed a couple of different relationships in general. First of
Yeah.
all, addressing Keely and Jack,
Keely,
who we had not seen in
the last
in
episode.
since the last episode. Technically, we had not seen them since the big reveal of them like kissing each other,
Yeah.
but we've seen from the episodes following that it is more than a one night thing,
Mhm.
and it turns out it's truly a relationship, and this episode
Yeah.
explores that.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows. So this is my question to you, because moviegoers out there, Ted Lasso fans out there, put in comments down below. What do you think as of right now? What do you think? Because I feel like Keely right now, she's uncomfortable in a way. I don't know. I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel like
Uh,
she's.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I kind of feel like she's very uncomfortable in a way to where, it really I don't know if it's because it's her boss technically, or it's her investor boss in a way. I don't know if it's because of that, or it's because there's so many
Well, there
moments
was
where
two
like
things I think.
where she really she really cares about Jack. She really cares about her
Yeah, it seems
in a
like
way
things
to
are
where,
going
yeah,
well.
it seems like they both really like each other. But then it's also like I think her I forgot what's her name, her assistant, or like the financial
Barbara.
Barbara. She mentions like, oh, like that's your, wait, you had breakfast with your boss, like what,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
almost in a
yeah.
way to where
Yeah,
like,
there was a scene
wait,
that
you
kind
are
of addresses.
together, yeah. So it kind of,
Yeah,
so what do you think is the issue that Keely's having, because she kind of feels uncomfortable a little bit
there's two
in certain
things.
moments here. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So the episode did a good job at addressing kind of like the elephant in the room, where I feel like a lot of fans feel this way. We've been debating, like, and even between me and my wife, we debate whether like Keely and Jack's relationship is like appropriate, like in the workplace or
Yeah,
whatnot. Like they're
and we talked about it last
obviously,
episode.
yeah, like Keely, and not in a traditional way, like doesn't report to Jack technically, but Jack is like an investor in her company. And that still kind of puts it in a hierarchy. And we have kind of like wondered as fans, like, what does that mean? How do we feel about this? And the episode finally addressed it head on. Like, this was part of the uncomfort that Keely had, which I actually don't think she had it at first.
Yeah.
Like until she realized it was about to slip up with like Barbara, and then she
Mhm.
saw how Barbara reacted, and she's like, oh my god. But then she has a conversation with Jack, and Jack is like, it's no, it shouldn't be a problem. I think we saw two ends of the coin. I think like we saw Keely over like stressing about it, and then we saw Jack, what I think, like being a little loose about it, because she was like, yeah, no, there's not a problem, we're two consenting adults, which
Yeah.
is totally true. They are, and I, in a perfect world, like that should be all that like matters. But still, like there's perception, there's all those things,
Professionalism. Yeah, professional.
professionalism.
Yeah.
And then Jack actually went ahead and addressed it to the team, and left an open door in terms of like any concerns that they might have, which I think
Yeah.
Barbara does. But I think the episode addressed it. I think the characters did what
Yeah.
adults would do, and I think part of that was Keely's concern. And then the second thing that seemed to have caused some discomfort is how forward Jack was being with gift
The
giving,
gifts. Yes. Yeah.
which
Let's talk
which
about that. Yeah.
yeah,
So, in a way, because I think Roy Kent did the exact same thing to Keely. I think he was giving her gifts, and like he was doing all this stuff,
I don't
and
think so.
she got. I mean, okay, it wasn't just a
He
gift
was
giving though.
he
It
was
was
spending too much time
too
with
much
her.
time with her. There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes. And he's like, oh, I'm just reading the Da Vinci Code.
Like, I
He's all
need a
like, wow.
breather.
Yeah. He's all
Yeah.
like, wow, wow. And she's all like, I'm trying to watch this show. And I'm like, he's all quiet. I was like, what is wrong with Keely? But it's just, she just doesn't like, I guess, being around them so much. And I kind of feel like Keely, you think Keely's ready though to be in another relationship so short? I mean, in my point of view, I really think she could just focus more on her company. And this casually happened, right? It casually, organically happened in a way to where it's like, oh man, like where are they? She's curious. She's definitely curious to where this might lead up to in a way. But at the same time, though, I don't know if she feels comfortable because whenever Jack tells her, tells everybody, she has this like face of not embarrassment, but just like
Yeah, no,
nervous,
I don't.
like
Well,
nervous
she's
because
nervous how
because it's
they'll
just like
react.
yeah, but more so I don't more so of just the fact that not because she's bisexual or anything like that. I think it's more so because that's her boss, you know, like that's who
Yeah.
her investor is. And
Yeah,
I like that
but then she
yeah.
told Rebecca later on a scene with it that she was actually really happy on how she like did that and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was more of the gift giving and then the initial fear, but like yeah, she like saw that Jack was open, and
Yeah.
it does seem like Jack is advancing the relationship more than Keely. But I don't think it's for me to say like if Keely's
Yeah.
ready. I think for us it's only been like not even a full season since the breakup, but to
I
them like
know.
it
It's
was
so
three
soon.
months,
I just
it was three
yeah.
months it was 3 months, and then there's been a couple fast forwards since then and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, still like she dated Roy for I think it was an entire year,
I'm still rooting for
but
Roy and Keely, man. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah. I
we'll
mean,
have to see. It does
yeah.
seem like she's happy, but yeah, there was some red flags here that Rebecca pointed out, and like
Yeah.
the love bombing, which it's
Yes.
overdoing it. It's someone of Jack's position where Jack has a lot of money.
Lot of
Uh,
money. Mm.
I think it's safe to say that in
It's
her position, a lot of
it's
people do that.
it's definitely one of those things me and Angela were talking. We're like, this could happen great, but this could end very, very bad for
Yeah,
Keely if
and
the
she
relationship
addressed it.
turns bad.
Yeah,
Because like it's it could just be like she could convince other investors to fall out of her company. I mean, she could essentially ruin her in a way to where like when it comes down to investors and all that, convince people not to invest in her company. So it could go either way. That's the only thing is that what do they say? Don't I forgot
mixed
what
pleasure with business.
yeah, mixed pleasure with business. And I
Yeah,
forgot what show I was watching, and they kept stop telling me that. Like, stop telling me that. I
yeah.
forgot what show it was, but they kept saying like, don't mix pleasure and business because of that. Oh, I know what it was. It was The Offer, which is a Paramount TV show about The
But
Godfather. But yeah,
and I agree, but if you think about it, Rebecca hiring her as her friend was mixing
that I mean,
pleasure with business. I know it's not pleasure, but
no, yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it.
and
Yeah.
even during that when Rebecca
Sam
offered,
with Sam, yeah,
yeah, there's
dude,
all of
that
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 shit
was
here, dude.
110%.
Yeah,
That was literally that was
yeah,
a conflict of interest. But
so
it didn't end up that badly. They just knew like, hey,
correct. So
yeah, they were both professional about it. But can this happen with Keely in this one? I don't know.
we'll have to see.
I don't know. I kind of
The
feel
thing
like
is, the thing is, like there was flags raised and how Jack was like showing.
yes,
Uh,
right away, right
I think
away.
Keely addressed it by talking to Jack about
Yeah,
it, and I think it's important that they did that. This show teaches us a lot about what it means to be able to talk to people
yeah.
and tell them how we feel, and then Keely wanted to treat her as well. One thing that I found interesting though, and I'm just gonna make this point because I think it may be relevant in future episodes, is like when Rebecca was asking Keely about like how's everything going and things like that, and when describing like you know her relationship um with Jack is like she mentioned like yeah she's very foxy, she's very nice and things like that, and talked about the rich, but like one of the main focuses was like how like the gift giving, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like for a moment that took me out and I was like, that's all you can describe? Like you didn't go into like the depth of the connection that you have with them, or like having a lot of things in common. Like they didn't talk, and maybe I'm just like lovey-dovey like that, but I found it interesting that like once again the center focus sounded like it was material, and once again that was part of the journey here. But
Yeah.
I wonder if like if that's all you have to like talk about,
But
like I wonder if
so
Keely's just once again.
yeah, one of the episodes, one of the part of this episode that I really forgot and I did not see was that whenever Keely and Becca were eating right at that dinner place,
Mhm.
and then I didn't know this though. I did not know this. This is crazy to me because this is just red flags right away. They hadn't even been dating. He wasn't been
Oh
dating for like
yeah,
a week. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Where Becca is like, "Can I have the bill, please?" Right? And the waitress is like, "Oh, the bill's already been paid for by Jack." And Keely has this face of like utter shocked of like,
Yeah,
what?
like how did she know?
How did she know I'm here?
Yeah,
Like, dude, all I'm saying is that
or
this I don't want to say again. I'm not jumping to conclusions, but these flags are like a little bit obsessive in a way.
yeah,
They could
and
be.
the
It
intention may
could
have
be.
been good, but it's kind of
Yeah,
like being over
obsessive.
involved, but like being over involved. I don't
This
know
is
about
this is
obsessive.
like you. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. This is turning
No,
into you. Yeah,
I was.
yeah,
I think it's over involved because
yeah.
we don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
Keely
we don't
did tell
know.
her, "Hey, I'm gonna go meet up with Rebecca," and then Jack handled things. But it is
Yeah,
being
but
over
still,
involved to an extent.
even if he told her, even if she told her that, why would you
Yeah,
like
no,
after she just got done saying, "Oh yeah,
for
don't be
sure.
buying," like what?
And to be fair, like gift giving is indeed a love language out of 5 love languages. If people not
Yeah,
familiar with the concept, I recommend looking it up. It's really useful.
yeah, no, yeah.
In it, but
But within, I mean, we're saying
perhaps
this
Jack
at
just
about a week,
expresses
right?
that way.
How
Yeah,
long are they been together for? Like a week or two,
no
right?
more.
More than that? Okay,
Yeah,
well,
because there was a time jump between
oh, you're
the kids
right.
that they had. Yeah, it's been.
So
I think
what?
it's
We'll
been
see a
6
month.
weeks.
We'll say a month. No, it hasn't been that long.
We'll see. I don't know. I
No,
don't think
because the
that.
kissing, I don't count that relationship. Define the relationship. That's all I'm saying, guys. Define the relationship. But as of right now, as of seeing the backseat, I mean, it's definitely giving off. I'm pretty Ted Lasso fans, girls, put on the comments down below. That's all I'm saying. Do you, if a guy buys you, like if he buys you all this stuff, don't you think it's a little bit, I don't know. If a girl was buying me stuff, like I mean, for the most part, I wouldn't mind, but it's definitely like
Well, why is a
kind of
double standard there?
no. Like I wouldn't mind.
Damn.
I wouldn't mind, but then if she knew where I was at and I didn't tell her, that's where I'd be
But
like,
that's
oh
the
my
thing. We're
god, like
assuming
yeah,
that. We're
yes,
assuming
yeah.
that. But
By
either
her
way, it
reaction, we're
is.
assuming that. By her reaction, by her facial expression, we're assuming that.
Yeah, but was it could also be the shock of like, oh, she took care of it. But I'm
Yeah,
not defending it. I'm
yeah,
saying it's still being over involved and over
yeah,
expressing in the form of gift giving and doing things. So once again, Keely kind of told her, and Jack was like, "Okay, I'll turn it back." But yeah, that could end up leading to more conflicts, or perhaps like Jack's not understanding of that moving forward and things like that. We'll just have to see it. But I think
yeah,
that was the extent of this particular arc. I think it
yeah.
was nice that they explored it because there was a lot of questions, but we do see that Keely is making the effort, and she seems to want to make this work.
Definitely. All right, let's move on because I that took a lot longer, guys. Sorry, that took a lot longer than expected. I didn't expect us to talk so much about Keely, but this is how passionate we are these characters. All
Yeah.
right, let's get right to it. We're gonna talk about the huge arc, the huge character arc we got of Sam. We got Sam in here, guys. Whoop whoop. Finally, he is not tossed to the side. That's
He's
all I'm
never been
saying. That's
tossed.
all I'm saying. We actually got a lot of screen time with him. We got a lot of different a more so of the like kind of similar to what last season gave more political. We did get a little political about the um refugees that were happening in a case to where the refugees cross more so I guess
Yeah.
on the politics behind it about this
We
was it a
deal
set it's not a senator, I'm sorry, it's a
um
uh
prime minister, I think
prime
is what
minister.
whether I
There you
don't
go.
recall if that's I believe it was a fictional political figure, right? I don't
Yeah,
think it
yeah.
was like a real person that they
No, no, no,
tossed in
no,
there.
no, no, yeah,
But I do believe it was like whoever's in charge
yeah.
in Britain, I think.
And it
But
happens very similar because we're not going to get into our politics here in America, but it is very similar because she said a very. That's what I kind of like about Ted Lasso is that they kind of take real life events because they say it in a
for
way
sure.
where our own politicians have said it.
Yeah.
Britain's closed.
They were
That's what
handling
exactly.
they were
Yeah.
handling things they were handling
Yeah.
things like
Oh,
Twitter, and
yeah.
the tweets actually were like almost word for word things that have been expressed out loud in the past, right? Like
In here
a
in
lot of in a
America.
lot of
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of countries deal with this.
Yeah.
Like uh refugee immigration and things like that.
Of
It
course.
happens everywhere, but they addressed it particularly here
In
in
London.
the UK,
Yeah.
where they reside here for Richmond. And yeah, it kind of involved in a similar fashion as what we've seen in the first season. Though it was the second one, my bad. What we saw in the second season
Mhm.
is Sam kind of like thinking of what his influence could do in talking about like a topic around this. But in this
Mhm.
particular instance, it wasn't through finding out from his dad of like, hey, this company is doing this and that. It was through his staff, the staff of
Mhm.
his kitchen, which I think it was great that they gave him a little bit more of a spotlight.
Mhm.
The chef in particular being like the leader around them, they were all very interested in in the in the political flow of this particular issue, which talked about immigration. And I think the immigrants were from probably like a place that is close to home from them or close to their personal experience.
Yes.
And even Sam, as an immigrant himself, like he just I initially kind of wanted to be hands off, but did like express like, oh yeah, that's not right or whatever, until he decided to take action on Twitter, doing a softer approach compared to his chef who had the stronger
Yeah, she
approach,
wanna
right?
just say bitch and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
it's like you
like,
should
dude,
throw bitch in there, and
I
Sam's like,
was
oh, I'll
like,
keep it my
"What?"
way.
Yeah, I'll keep it my yeah, I
Just
like
kind
that.
of
I like the way Sam did that. I like the way he
yeah.
handled it. That was really
and
good.
and like we've seen this in sports, right? Like sports superstars talking about like some of the things
Politics.
they're against, some of the things that they're
Yeah.
supporting, and things like that. And in most cases, we do see a similar backlash at times where, it's like, I to stick to your sport type of thing. And very similar arc happened here. Um, but like Ryan, if we get into this, like this actually had a negative effect on Sam's property, like his restaurant. Like I
Yeah.
think the episode led to this moment where it actually shocked me.
Uh,
Just
yeah, I wasn't, I hate to say this, but I wasn't surprised.
yeah,
In a world that we live in now where
I guess because I don't live there, that's why I was like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
this happens there too,
just
like vandalism of
just
property.
yeah, just because more so because I've more so of our local news here that people were getting damaged property because they were
Yeah.
thinking they were getting COVID because of Chinese
Oh
food.
yeah. Oh, I
Um,
recall when that happened.
yeah, it's definitely a thing to where it's so idiotic, it's so pathetic
It's a
in a
terrible
way
thing,
to
and
where to attack anyone else's business that's not yours and damage
yeah,
property that you don't even know. But in this case, we know Sam worked his butt off for this.
yeah,
He worked his ass off for this. And for someone, because granted, right? I mean, we talk about Twitter, we talk about social media, we talk about this. Social media could be good or bad. It can be good or bad, whatever the case may be. And
Cena.
in this case, it took a
No.
toll on Sam because he took a political stance that maybe more so in London. We don't know because they don't really talk about the politics in London so much in this
Yeah,
series, but more so maybe the unpopular opinion of him taking a stance on it,
yeah,
and therefore the backlash of it. I'm
yeah.
not saying he deserved it. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I am saying that like you
That
it's
you
you open that can of worms that you don't know what's going to come out of it. You open the can of worms to where it could backfire on you. It really
yeah.
can. And I'm not saying
And
he shouldn't speak his mind. I really am not. No, everyone has a right to their own opinion, just like you do, I do. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, but you should not do that to anyone, to anybody.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's messing with and it messes with, his staff as well, right? Like
yeah,
they're probably taken aback by it and things like that, and then they were angry, rightfully so.
yeah,
And this episode took Sam on a journey where it's like, how do you navigate that? And
yeah,
and one particular thing that struck hard for him seeing his restaurant like this is he was expecting his father to come in and wanted to show him the restaurant. He even talked about like, hey, can we please get a seat for my father that's coming
yeah. On
home? and
Friday,
and I
yeah.
was really looking forward to meeting Sam Stat. But the way that we met him, I'll
I
go
thought, yeah, that was good. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I'm gonna
I hate to say
yeah,
it.
that's the performance I
I
was talking
hate,
to you guys about earlier. I
yeah,
wanted to highlight this because
yeah,
after this happens,
yeah,
rightfully so, like, what are you still have to go to practice? So he
yeah,
walks into the locker room heated, obviously, kind of taking it out on the teammates, which I don't
yeah.
think is right, but he's very
He's
heated.
stressed out. I don't
And
blame him.
yeah,
I don't
no.
blame him. Yeah, I'll be
And
the exact same way. I will be.
yeah, no, for sure. Especially once again, something that you worked so hard for.
Yeah.
And we see apologies. We
Nonso,
see Sam,
which is
the
played by
actor. I want to
Nonso.
give
Yeah.
credit to the actor. Well, not Sam's dad yet, but Sam
Oh,
himself, played by Toheeb Jimo. I apologize if I
yeah. Sorry about
said
that.
that wrong, but
Yeah.
he then delivers a very powerful performance,
Yeah.
expressing the anger, the sadness, and he gave such a good piece of dialogue when he was talking. Like, what am I supposed to do? Dribble this ball around, like suit up
Yeah.
and play for the audience to make them happy, which are the same people that did this. Like, and that's not him bashing on fans, but it's very likely that the people that did that to his business like watch football, and they like, if they lived in Richmond, like they're part of the culture and things like that. So like he was so frustrated, losing his cool in a moment, and then
Yeah.
the entrance
Even
of his
football,
father.
or they could just be very political, in a way,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. I mean, public
yeah,
figures.
and yeah, I want to highlight on that. We get a talk between him and his father that is so damn good. And we really get to see the identity, because Sam's always talked about, my father did this, my father. We always see the text message
Yeah,
between him and
we've
his
never met the
father,
man.
and we never met the man. But now we met the man, and oh man, this gentleman
Just
is
such a presence.
a class,
Well,
a class of a person. And he really he talks to Sam, and I love
yeah,
that, because he really talks to him and highlights him. Like, you really want to piss these people off, forgive them. He says that so damn
yeah,
good. You
and
kill them with kindness. That's what
yeah,
you do.
exactly.
You prove to them, like, this doesn't bother me. This doesn't bother me. You could destroy my restaurant, and in a way, because I kind of like how they make a comedy out of it, because this is exactly what I do personally. This is what I do. I get upset, and then I talk about it, then I make a joke about it, and not necessarily you move on, but like, life. You move on with life, and you kind of make the highlights of it. Like, well, at least I got insurance, and that's what they said in this one. I was just like, oh man, I was like, well, there you
Yeah,
go, man.
and
Like,
they let the
yeah,
moment. We're hoping if you're watching the spoiler talk here is like, you've seen the episode, but if you
yeah,
haven't for some reason,
yeah,
don't think that like there was a joke that immediately followed. They let the scene breathe so well,
yeah.
and then they deliver like, please just tell me that you had insurance. Such a dad moment, right? Like it is a dad
Yes,
question to ask. But it was
yeah,
just so great to see this calming, influential presence in
yeah.
Sam's life in person, and even just like
Love it.
seeing that Ted like met him and stuff. I love
Oh, that
that
was so good.
because I recall like a moment where like Sam had told Ted is like, hey, my dad actually wants me to tell you that he feels safer, that like I'm in your hands in terms of like, you being the coach and things like that. And so clearly like Sam's dad, Osa, respects Ted, and so for
Yeah,
them to meet, and Ted kind of being like a father figure himself to a lot of like the teammates and stuff like that, it was
yeah,
just such a great moment. Wonderful performance by Tahib. I think he clearly knocked it out of the park. I think people will be moved by his performance,
definitely.
and this is one of the things where it's like, hey, let's put it on the Emmy bucket, see what happens, because
Oh yeah, that's all I'm saying. Sam, I mean, dude, this is the acting, this is the screen time that I wanted out of Sam. This is
yeah.
it. 100. This answer all the questions I had all the complaints I had last episode were solved during this episode. I'll
And
say that.
and I know we're going late, guys, but just like one thing I have to mention later to kind of close out this arc, and his father still wanted to see the restaurant as is.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. Sam was reluctant about it. He brings them anyways, and what do you see? The
yeah,
Richmond team cleaning up the
coming in.
place.
Yeah,
Already did
that was
some
awesome.
repairs. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'll be vulnerable
Love it.
here. As I broke down a little bit because it took me by surprise. Not that I
Yeah,
didn't expect that from the team, but
yeah,
the way that the episode flowed, you kind of forgot. Like
yeah.
I'll just say that like the moment took me by surprise, and it
It
really
did.
made me
Yeah,
emotional. I think probably one of the most emotional moments I've had with the series alone. But
yeah.
yeah, it was just great.
Sam did mention rushing into the locker room, and that's why I kind of like that, because they highlighted it. When Sam rushed in, he said, this world is full of evil people, and I'm just, and he pretty much, went on an anger rant because he was frustrated. And at the very end of this episode, the team sees how he's struggling, how he struggled, how someone attacked his own place, and it really broke him down in a way that they never seen him. and the team stepped in, because that team is not just a team, it's family. And I love that a lot, because, a lot of all these individuals, more so, including Danny, right? Because Danny's across the whole, across the ocean. Um, they're I guess they're all immigrants in their own way, and they all come together because they're all lonely, or they're all by themselves, and they rely on each other a lot more so in this episode. And I love that, because they actually show when a teammate or a family member is in need, then we step up, in a way to where it was so funny, because I actually liked, I mean, I was smiling, right? I liked how, I got my cousin to do the window.
But
Yeah,
he didn't give
yeah.
a
You
discount
give
because
it
he's a
discount,
prick.
and that was funny. Yeah, that was funny. And I know we didn't mention it. Uh, but
No, you
here's
like
yeah,
yeah,
here's
no,
the
no, you can finish your thought on
and
that.
then what I also did want to mention, that we forgot to mention, by the way, guys, was also when what do you call it, when oh my gosh, his dad, we're just talking about, when oh my god, when Sam's dad, when he met Becca, he kind of, it was a little awkward there. Does he
Yeah,
know, right? He
yeah,
knows, right?
yeah,
He
he
knows.
knows.
Okay,
Sam tells his dad
yeah, I was
everything.
all like, he
And
was looking
he
at him
also
kind of awkward. He was
and
like,
he did a
"Oh,
similar
you're the one, right?"
parallel he did a similar parallel with the chef. And it was like, Sam has told me a lot about
Yes.
you, which I have said I see a little something there.
I want
Uh
him to be with Becca, though.
nah, dude, that boat has sailed. I
You think
think.
so? Okay,
I
all
think
right.
so. I
Whatever.
think
I
so.
want it to happen. Maybe you guys do, maybe you guys do. But yeah. Um uh but yeah, it's definitely something different. And then also we did get a little bit, I know we touched up on a lot of Keely, a lot of Sam in here. Also, we got to touch up a little bit on Nate and Jade's relationship, official now, I guess, their official date, for the very first
At
time.
least, yeah, go
Yeah.
on a date for the first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last time, she just joined them, but she was still at work. It was kind of like
I
not
don't
casual.
I,
And
I mean, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I didn't okay, I didn't
wait, last time,
expect it.
or what do you
No, no,
mean?
no, like more so I didn't expect it. When we first saw Jade's
Oh yeah, yeah,
character,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't expect that to happen, but I mean, I guess it's definitely, I'm not rooting
I
for
don't
Nate,
think
so
it's out of nowhere,
I'm
but
not rooting for Nate right now, so I'm just
yeah,
like, yeah, whatever. I don't,
you're like,
yeah.
oh right.
Oh, okay, good, whatever. Screw you. You screwed over
No,
Richmond.
well, but
Yeah.
he was confused too, right? Because
Yeah.
Jade seemed to have only started to see who he is and respect him after he defended the restaurant so much and saw his true character. And I've said it, that was the first time that he's been confident and held his own without needing to do the spit in the mirror here. And here we find him on a journey where he's confused about, like, does Jade like me? Like, I don't know. We had kind of had like a moment. I feel like a lot of men, I mean women too, like you guys have been in a position similar to this, where like you just don't know, like you've received mixed direction or mixed what's it called, mixed signals before. A lot of people have been in this position, so we find Nate and we follow him on this journey where he's consulting the people closest to him, which I still to this day like appreciate how much of a family person Nate is.
Yeah.
So far we had only seen his mother and um
I was just more annoyed. I was
his
like, dude,
dad.
just ask the girl. Oh my
It
god,
ain't
just
that
ask
easy,
her.
man. It ain't
Ask
that
her. Be
easy.
like, what's good, girl? What's good?
Not
Yo, mom,
everyone's got
what's
not
up?
everyone's
What's
got your
good? I be
not
like,
everyone's
that's
got your game, dude.
that, and whatever. But all I'm saying is that just ask the girl, ask the woman. That's
Well,
all I'm saying.
it ended up being what he did, but what I really liked about one particular moment is, like, he was nervous, but even his mom and his sister, they explain, like, you just can't tell if a girl likes,
Yeah.
like, women
I
are
like his.
complicated.
Oh, and we actually get his sister in this episode,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
Yeah,
think we
that's
ever
what I
gotten,
was
right.
saying, is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
this time we opened the curtain, we saw his niece who makes the boxes with him, and they've talked
Yeah,
about
we've
her
seen her.
before.
Yeah,
So we knew of their existence, but they finally opened the curtain a little bit, gave us more insight into his family. And once again, he consulted with his family,
yeah,
rightfully so. They told her, hey, you just can't know, so you just have to ask her. And they gave him a
yeah.
little bit of that confidence, but he struggled for a minute and he went to the restroom. He almost did the exact same thing he did, as to make himself bigger and spit on his face and kind of be
Yeah.
depreciating to himself, to then turn into this confident dude. He stopped himself. And
Hmm.
I've told y'all before, back and back again, there's little moments, especially the time that he defended against like the model.
True.
He did not need to do that to be confident, and he
Yeah.
didn't do it this time either. It took him a
Yeah.
little bit because he went back and he built the box
Mhm.
for her.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Jade said yes. Jade is now seeing that he's not pretending, he's being himself. And I
Mhm.
think she truly appreciates once again how much the restaurant means to her. And
Yes.
I gotta say, like when she showed up to the date, towards the end of the episode, I was happy.
I thought she was gonna stand him up.
I
I'm not gonna lie,
I
for a little bit. I was all like, "Oh
that's the
man!" And then when we saw
question.
the feet, I was like, "Okay, never
You
mind."
were
She's good.
hoping she would stand him up. Like, I don't lie, dude. But no, me and my wife, we reacted the same way. We were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
she looks so pretty. Like, it's so cute." It was like a good moment. Like, I
Yeah.
know Nate, in a lot of eyes, may not deserve a lot of these things,
Yeah.
but he is taking the steps
Yeah.
where,
I call next episode's gonna be Nate's episode. I'm
you
calling it
think
right
so?
now. I'm calling it right now because it ended the way. Because normally I've
Yeah.
noticed that. Have you noticed that in these episodes for the most part is that last episode ended with Ted figuring out the game plan. Then when we start off with this episode, we start off with the game plan,
Yeah,
and with this one, we end with Nate going on the
that is
date.
true.
So I'm just saying, if they work out the formula like I expect them
I
to,
think it's due because Nate has been skipped for a little while.
yeah.
This one had it once.
And he wore a black suit on the date. Oh, dude,
I'm telling you, that's the only suit he has.
Vader. That's all I'm saying, dude. Vader.
He has the suit that Ted bought him, and then
All I'm
he has
saying,
this one. He doesn't want to wear Ted's anymore.
dude. All I'm saying is Vader. That's all I'm saying.
Wait,
Vader.
no, did he wear a? I'm not gonna.
He wore a black suit. It's a black suit with a black shirt, dude. It's black. Okay, I'm sorry. He wore a black shirt with a charcoal dark suit. It's not technically black because the way it looks, the
But still,
contrast.
yeah, no, I get you. Hey,
Yeah, I'm just saying, dude.
a lot
just
of people look
saying.
good in black. It's fine. But no, I get you. I get you.
It's not a coincidence. That's all I'm saying. It's not a coincidence.
We'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
Jade could also
Nate's
be that
episode
driving
calling
force. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think it's probably due. You're right.
Yeah.
I like that prediction. But yeah, no, I think that once again, this episode's doing a lot of good things for
Definitely
people.
it is.
I think it's leading up to some of the best stuff that we're gonna see soon.
Definitely. All right, guys, this got to be our longest episode to date on the Ted Lasso right here review, guys. Thank you so much. If you stuck with us this long, thank you so much. If you listened to us this long, thank you so much, guys, from our subscribers to our followers and everything. Thank y'all so much. And if you have not already, like, share, subscribe to us, hit that subscribe notification on our YouTube channel, vice versa. If you listen to us on the podcast, be sure to follow us on the podcast platform. But yeah, thank y'all so much, guys. As always, I'm your host. Wait, scratch that. I didn't even do ratings. We talked about this whole episode. Lex, what's your rating of this episode, real quick?
No, you go first, man. I'm kind of nervous of giving mine.
Okay, so mine, I'm gonna give this a 9.5. 9.5 rating.
Yeah, I think that's your highest yet.
One of them. It's not my highest. I believe.
Really?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was season 1. Well, we
weren't
doing
this
season. This is
season.
Yeah, this is one of the high. Yeah, this is my highest so far. Yeah.
Favorite episode so far?
I believe so. As of right now, yes. As of right now, it could change with the season finale. You never know. That's all I'm saying, because it has to. Dude, I expect the season finale to be 2 hours long. Who knows? You never know.
No.
2 hours. Okay, an hour and a half. An hour and a half at least.
I think it's gonna be an hour.
No, I think it's gonna be an hour and a half. You want to bet money? Let's bet money live. We'll bet money right now. $10.
$5. 10.
No, $10. Yeah. $10. All right. But what was your rating of this, Lex? Don't tell me it's another 10, dude. Don't tell me it's another 10.
Well, think about it. Yours keeps going up. Mine is staying the same. So why would mine go down?
Not go down, but stay the same.
Yeah, like if I stay the same, it's a 10. It's a 10.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna do a 10 again. I'm sorry.
Damn, it's all right. It's all right. That's your belief.
The bar is elevated. So like this makes me look back at some of the other episodes that I've given a 10 a little lower. But the bar was raised. I still think of those excellent episodes. I have no regrets about that. But this one just hit me on my core. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not the most reliable reviewer out there, or at least rater. I think I bring up solid points, but I'm not the most reliable rater. But for me, like
you are when it comes down to movies. I think this just because how great this show is, it's so hard to give it like a bad rating because it's so damn good. Like you like these special moments, and I love that because it's so hard to be like, what's bad about this? So,
I said, the bar keeps going up.
Yeah,
because this is actually I think it's very close to my favorite episode this season. I think it might have become that. I probably need to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite episodes in the series, me personally,
Yes.
as a
Oh
whole.
wow.
And once again, I got really emotional in a moment where it hit me like other Ted Lasso episodes. It's kind of like a building thing, and then there's like a knot in my thing, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? This one kind of hit me like a truck, and not a lot of episodes do that. I do get emotional in a lot of things that are effective, but I gotta give props. Just the writing continues to be excellent, and there was other things that we didn't cover that just like hit home for me, and I'm really looking forward. I think this is a turning point. We've talked about how every episode's kind of like a turning point.
Yeah.
I feel like this one, I think we're heading there.
Definitely, guys. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much once again, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
This was Lex, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good one, guys. Stay safe, San Antonio. Catch you later. Peace.